Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today we're checking out a 2026 GMC Terrain all-wheel drive in the AT4 trim level. This vehicle is sitting on two 35/65 general tires wrapped around 17-inch alloy wheels with a matte gray finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors in the front and solid rotors in the back. The name of this color is Riverstone Metallic, and it looks really good, especially on the AT4 trim, where it's going for that off-road look. Really nice. So it's kind of like a light brown or a tan, something like that to my eyes, and you can see a little bit of a real fine metal flake. Looks really good. So we have a lot of gloss black. Nowadays, gloss black either represents sporty vehicles or off-road vehicles for some reason. You just add some gloss black, add some red tow hooks, and you got an off-road vehicle, right? But that's kind of like the theme, I guess. But it looks cool, especially with this GMC badge. It has like a certain red that looks really good. It's like a non-glossy, kind of like a, yeah, just like a matte red. Really impressed with that. And so basically you have the gloss black, and then you have this chrome right here, and then the AT4 badging. There's also a camera integrated right here in the very center, nicely tucked in. Seems to work well. You also have the radar adaptive cruise control sensor here. Now there's this little thing right next to it that's driving me nuts. I can't figure out what that little thing is right there. It's only on one side. I don't know if that's a temperature sensor or something going on there, but I hadn't been able to figure it out yet. If I find out, I'll put it in the down in the comments or the description or whatever. So you can see right here, this is like a gray, and then that is a gloss black. And then you have a matte black plastic here around the tow hook, which makes kind of sense. You don't want to scratch the plastic, the glossy plastic if you're hooking up hooks and stuff. So the headlights are a multi-projector LED system. Look pretty good. You have a fog light as well, little fog light, once again, LED projector. And you can check out the night video on this vehicle if you want to look at how well the headlights perform and all the lights in general perform. There's also a little bit of airflow here on the outside here, so it is open. So you can see the gloss black extends here on the side around each wheel well at the base of the doors as well. There's a matte black pillar here in the center. If that was gloss black, it'd be a little bit better as far as solidifying the glass, especially if you tint the front windows. Then the gloss black roof rails there. Upper portion of the side mirror is gloss black. And then there is another little, kind of like a smoked chrome or something going on right here at the base of the door, right next to the gloss black. Now the body colored handles, and the frame around the window is all gloss black as well. This is what the key looks like, and it's pretty standard GM key. Proximity key has the GMC on the back, but you'll see this like in Cadillac and different vehicles, different GM vehicles basically. But it has a lock, unlock, remote start, which is handy. The ability to open up the power liftgate. You also have a panic button there, and there's a physical key on the inside as well. And I have a video showing you how to change the battery on this key fob if you want to check it out. But basically, it's designed where you can just use the key without, taking it out of your pocket. But this one, like a lot of vehicles nowadays, but this one you have to press this button. It doesn't have the sensor back here. So you press the button to lock it, you press it again to unlock it. So it just alternates. You take this little slider right here to access the physical key location. It's only here on the driver's side though. The doors go all the way to the bottom of the vehicle. And there's a seal here to seal it up. So that way it's relatively clean there in the threshold so you don't get your clothes dirty. So the inside of the door here, we have a soft touch surface here, and this is like a vinyl type material, and then you have a cloth type. It's like a textured vinyl. I don't know how to explain it, but it kind of feels like a cloth, but it's actually a vinyl, but it's textured, so it feels like a cloth. Pretty neat. And you have the stitching here in a French design. This little spot here is enclosed, so you can utilize that as a pocket. There's a pocket here at the bottom of the door. And it's hard plastic on the inside so things can kind of slide around, but it goes back here quite a ways. So you can see it goes in there. So you can put a long umbrella or something like that. Mid-size umbrella, I guess you could say. But it has this little accent. So this is like a smoked chrome right here, and then right above it, if you can tell, it has like this little accent. I guess it's kind of like it's not really a carbon fiber. I'm not sure what it's going for, but it looks pretty cool. So there's no fancy sill plate or anything here in the threshold. Manually adjusted seats, and it's a combination of cloth here on the sides, and then you have a that same vinyl that's textured that I showed you on the door, French design stitching, another layer of cloth, which is a different type, and then you have the simulated leather material here. And these are heated seats, and you can see the perforations and everything. But yeah, these are pretty comfortable seats. Pretty impressed with it. They look good. And up here, we start to have some little bit of cloth piping as well. And then the AT4 is embossed there in the headrest. So yeah, pretty impressive seats as far as the way they look and also the comfort. Lots of legroom here in the front. And I like these floor mats. These upgraded floor mats this one comes with. They're basically like a tray, and you can take them out, dump them, clean them, hose them off, or whatever. So if you have these, you don't even need like an aftermarket floor mat. These are excellent. They're not overly heavy, easy to get in and out, and they cup any kind of dirt, slush, mud, snow, whatever. So it doesn't get in the vehicle at all. So you can see this little compartment here. You can use that from the driver or the passenger. Put a bag or something. But yeah, lots of legroom. A little bit of tapering going on right here, but other than that, you're fine. Hard touch surfaces down here. Non-locking glove compartment. Has a soft landing here. Smooth plastic on the inside. Pretty decent size. All right, it's got more hard touch. That smoked chrome material surface, and then that, I'll just call it a carbon fiber type accent. And we have more of that vinyl, and then a kind of rubbery, non-reflective dash there. Looking pretty cool. It's very stylish. It looks pretty good. Did a good job. This one has the panoramic sunroof. We'll get to that soon. The size of this SUV is really nice because the height off the ground is nice. You can just get in and out. The seat height relationship to the ground is like perfect, so very easy to get in and out. And the swing of the door is nice here in the front. The opening is great. You're not bumping your head or anything. Here in the back, we do have a lot of room here in the top, so you're not going to bump your head, but there's a little bit of space right there that's kind of blocking a little bit. And so if they were to have the swing of the door a little bit wider, I think it would be better. As it is, not really a big deal, but I think just the swing of the door would have opened a little bit more would be better. So we have a similar style here, but we have the hard touch here at the top, carbon fiber, quote unquote, smoked chrome, vinyl material, vinyl, hard touch. So very similar to the front door, except for we have a little bit more hard touch surfaces, including up here. So there's the, once again, threshold there. And the back seat is basically a bench seat. Now it does have this armrest here that's nice and soft. Cup holders there in the center. It flips up. So yeah, it's like a bench seat. And once again, we have cloth, vinyl, all that kind of stuff. And it has the car seat attachments here. But when you lift this up, these little covers, you have to find a spot for them because it's very easy to lose them and kind of a little bit unsightly if you don't have them on. So, I wish they had the ones where they just, don't like pop off and find a place for them type thing. Even though they are easy to use, you just kind of have to keep track of those little things and then locate them later when you take the car seat out. Completely flat floor. This is great. You can see my umbrella is completely flat on the floor there. And these floor mats are great once again. It is a two-piece design. I wish it was just like one-piece floor mat, but as it is, it's okay. We have some coverage here as well. There's mat pockets on the back of both front seats. This is like a vinyl material. USB-C ports here. Climate control vents. This little tiny pocket, I'm not sure what that's for, but a little tiny thing there at the bottom. Looking at the back of the vehicle, we have the gloss black roof, and then the gloss black shark fin antenna is kind of wide up there, along with the roof rails there. Now it has a third brake light here at the top of the glass and the spoiler. There's also a rear view camera right here as well. So in addition to the backup camera, we have a rear view camera up here. Rear wiper, and then the backup camera is down here. For some reason, offset, not the very center, not really integrated. It kind of looks tacked on, but you know, it is what it is, I guess, suppose. Could be better. Parking sensors back here. You can see them integrated into the gloss black portion. And then this is like that dark gray, so it kind of blends in a little bit. Now the tail lights are LED, all LED, looking nice and sharp and impressive. Once again, you can check out the night video if you want to see what that's all about. Now there is a towing hitch behind this cover. So you do have some towing capabilities here. And the exhaust is fairly well hidden. Opening up the power liftgate, you can of course use the key, or there's a button under here. Just press that, and it's power liftgate. Press it hard enough. There we go. And then under here is just a hard touch surface. Here's the cargo area. And you can see there's some tie downs here. There's two lights, one on each side. Seems like it's in this little mid position here. So maybe it could be good. I'll have to check it out in the night video though. There is a 12-volt power supply right here. You can put a shade, so it does have the attachments there for the optional shade. And check out this cargo mat, looking good. It's very similar to the regular mats, where it looks well made and very useful, especially keeping things from sliding around. Because the carpet like this is very slippery, and you know, go to the store, buy something and put it back here, and then it's sliding around on the way home, and it's just annoying. This lifts up, and you have this additional subfloor compartment here. Goes in there quite a ways. There's a tow hook, left-hand thread, I can see. And then this lifts up, and then this is where your spare tire and tools are located. So there's a spare tire, and the tools are underneath it in that styrofoam compartment there. Probably can wedge some gloves or some other stuff around the tire as well. This is kind of just like a flimsy piece right here. But yeah, subfloor storage. It's nice to have, you know, subfloor storage so you can put some stuff there and it just stays with you maybe, and it's out of the way from your normal activity, which is there. So, and it's out of sight, out of your way until you need it, that kind of thing. Now these seats can fold down, so 60-40 split. So you can add to your cargo space while still maintaining passenger space. And you know, they not completely flat area here, but very useful. Wide open space here once you fold the seats down. And like I said, you can fold one or the other depending on your needs. Lowering the power liftgate, there's a button right here. Just press that. It comes down slowly. Has a little beeping going on, but not super loud. And it softly comes down. Fuel door is here on the driver's side, and it's a non-locking fuel door, and it's capless. Starting it up, as long as you have the key inside the vehicle, you just press and hold the brake, and press this button right here. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. Now you notice this floor mat snaps in place, so it stays straight on you, keeps it from sliding around. So accelerator, brake pedal, and then the footrest is like perfect. And it also has the mat that covers half of it, so things don't get underneath the mat. Some, like, even off-road type mats, they leave this open, and then this is open right here, and then all kinds of trash gets underneath it, so this is nice. Let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, just reach in right here in the very center, and it's down. So you reach in, reach down with your fingers, and move it to the right, and then lift up on the hood. Kind of heavy hood, but there's the latch right there. And the hood does require a prop to hold it up. Here's the prop here, and it swings right to where that arrow is pointing. There's insulation under the hood. There's also a seal across the front and the back. Helps with airflow, noise, cooling, that kind of thing, keeping the airflow going in the direction that they want. So you see the firewall is blocked off there. And then there is suspension towers braced in with the unibody structure of the vehicle here. There's insulation and heat shielding there on the firewall, because there is a turbocharged engine, but the turbo is actually up here on the front with the exhaust. So yeah, so that is dumping a lot of heat right there with the cooling system. So yeah, I guess it's all right, but I mean, there's quite a bit of space here, but there's not much heat shielding between that and the cooling system. So I guess if you're driving, it's not really a problem, but if you're sitting in traffic or if you're doing any kind of slow moving off-roading, all that heat is going to be kind of conflicting with the cooling system. But, you know, there's a fan there, and, you know, they've made some adjustments there as far as that goes. So, yeah, typically I like to see it in the back, the turbocharger, just because of that. Because you can heat shield it back there, and then, so if you're not moving very fast, the heat builds up away from the cooling system. Because heat is a killer of mechanics, basically, mechanical stuff. Battery is easy to get to. It's located over here. And even though this is an all-wheel drive vehicle, the engine is positioned like a front-wheel drive. This is the front of the engine, there's the back of the engine, and then the transmission is located down here. But it is an all-wheel drive in this case, where it transfers power to the rear wheels as well. Powering this vehicle is a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, direct injection. Now it puts out 175 horsepower in both the front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. In the front-wheel drive, you only get 184 pounds-feet of torque in the front-wheel drive, but the all-wheel drive, you get 203 pound-feet of torque. Now this is at 4,000 RPMs, 2,000 to 4,000 RPMs. And the horsepower comes in at 5,800 RPM, so a huge amount of RPMs to get that maximum horsepower. So you do have to rev the engine up quite a bit, but the torque comes in at a much lower horsepower, so that helps out with the acceleration and stuff like that. But still, you do have to really wind this engine out to really feel the power. Now it's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, but if you get the front-wheel drive, then it's a CVT, continuously variable transmission. This one does have the blind spot detection system, and the indicator is here on the side mirror. So it's right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it illuminates there on the mirror when there's a vehicle in your blind spot. And these are heated side mirrors as well. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the passenger side, except for it has a few more buttons. The front driver window is the only one that's automatic one touch up and down. It's a non-laminated glass, and it's just one touch up and down, nice and smooth. Now the rear windows, you have to hold, actually it's one touch down, but it's not one touch up. So, and it does go all the way down. So yeah, so okay, so one touch down, but not one touch up, basically on the rest of them, just the driver. Side mirrors are adjusted there. You have the ability to open up the power lift gate here. Now the driver has the power seat, and you have a two-way lumbar adjustment as well. Yeah, pretty impressed with these seats. They are heated, so in the wintertime that would help out. To the left of the steering column, there is electronic parking brake. It's just a single press to turn it on, press again to turn it off, and it engages the rear wheels. This is for your drive modes. You have an auto hold feature. You can turn off the all-wheel drive. If you just want front-wheel drive, you can do that. This is to turn off the idle stop. So default will be on, you just press it, and then now it's off. So that's the on light. And then you have the dimmer switch for the interior gauges. Now the column is a tilt and telescoping column, and it locks in place here. Sitting in the driver's seat, I have the driver's seat all the way back and all the way down to give you an idea of the potential legroom here. I'm 6 feet tall, and I can still drive with the seat all the way back and all the way down, but I do pull it up just a little bit. I still have a good angle on the footrest, and I can reach the pedals fine. So even if you're just a little bit over 6 feet tall, shouldn't have any problem driving the vehicle. But you know, there's still plenty of room here on the left side, here on the right side. This is soft here if you accidentally, you know, hit it or whatever, or if you happen to need to pull the seat up. But yeah, there's plenty of room, and it seems to be ergonomic as far as my legs and everything. Steering wheel is large, comfortable, a little bit of softness to it, but not like super cushy soft. And it looks good. It has a stitching there on the inside. It doesn't stick out too much. Right in here, it has like this opening near there in the center. And then it has, you know, different grips here, but there's no like, you know, protruding grips or anything like a sports steering wheel or whatever. This is fine. It looks good. It feels good. Now it is a heated steering wheel. There's the button for that. And it has the buttons on the back of the steering wheel here. So there's paddle shifters, but just below that, there's an up and down. You can see that. And that's for the volume for the radio. It lines up with your fingers perfectly. Here on the left side is to change to the tracks. So really spoiled using these back of the steering wheel buttons for those type functions. Now on the front, it's a little bit, the way this vehicle is and the way GM has been for a while now, it has some like buttons that are kind of a little bit out of place, right? So here is the cruise control. Now you can turn it on, but once it's on, the next time you drive the vehicle, it'll automatically be on, and you can just set it by pulling it down on this toggle switch. Now you pull down on this toggle switch to set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, because it does have the adaptive cruise control, it's a little radar system, and as you pull it down, it shows gap adjust up here, and so you just pull it down. Now I wish it had an up and down. It doesn't go up, so you're not able to increase or lower it based on that toggle. You only can press it down, and then it cycles through the distances and land on, just land on the one you want. It's a super minor thing, but since it's a toggle, you would think that it would be able to go, pull it in and out without having to go through the whole thing. Because if you're driving, when you cycle through all the different ranges there, like you start to change it, and then it goes from a far distance, and then all of a sudden it starts going really fast towards the vehicle in front of you while you're cycling through, and then you want to land on just the next distance, then it has to slow back down. So being able to just finally tune it would have been better. But yeah, it's just one of the little minor things going on. Now it does have a low range. Once again, this button should be with the shifter, but they put it here, and the lane keep assist system would go right there. It would be nice to go right there where this blank button is. If you can just take it off the screen over here and put it right there, that would have been more intuitive. But as it is, things are a little bit off here and there. Once you know where it is, it's not really a big deal, but at first glance, it's just kind of throwing me off a little bit. Here on the right side, you have the toggle switch for the phone, right? So pushing up answers, push it down hangs up, basically, which is great. I like the way they use that toggle, separate switches, or separate, up and down, especially for the dedicated hanging up. Now, if you're not in a phone call and you press down on this, it'll mute the radio. So that's another thing that's a little bit out of place, but considering they have the volume on the back of the steering wheel, that kind of makes sense. Now it has a really good voice recognition. So you press this and it's a Google Assistant type system. So I'm gonna press that. I want some coffee.
Here's what I found along your route for restaurant.
So it's able to recognize your voice fairly well and tell you what you're saying and figure out what you want and give you what you want. So it's not like super dedicated voice commands. You can pretty much say whatever you want, just kind of speak naturally, and you're able to use the voice recognition. So it's pretty impressive, actually. Now, if you this radio button and this OK and up and down, that corresponds with this screen. We'll get to that in just a second. Here's the shifter. Okay, I like non-standard shifters. Like having a big knife switch lever shifter here is kind of old-fashioned. There's no reason. It's just electronic anyway, so there's no reason for you to have all that leverage and take up all this space in order to have a big shifter, right? So having this is nice, and once you get used to it, it's really good. So basically, to put it in drive, you just pull in, go down. So that's drive. Pull in and hold it to go the neutral. Pull in and go up to go in reverse. And then down here is the park button. So you press that to put it in park. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and put it back in neutral so you can see the camera system. It has a top-down view. It has of course, the back view right now. And then you can have the guidelines on or off. You can have the top-down view on or off. And you can have different views here. There's the front view, there's the back view. We have the top-down back, top-down front. And then we have the side views here. So this is basically the back wheels. So it kind of takes the vehicle away and gives you the view in the back. This is really handy for off-road type stuff. So yeah, it has the active guidelines. And the guidelines are not only giving you a view of the back, but also here the swing on the side right there as well. So yeah, that's really nice. So you can see this button right here. It is for the gauge cluster here, and you can cycle through 3 different views. So this is the first view that I have, and it shows the time, the date, outside temperature, your range, whether you're in all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive or two-wheel drive actually, what vehicle, the direction your vehicle's facing. Over here is the outside temperature, what your radio's doing, what gear you're in, status of the seat belts here, odometer, and then of course your digital speedometer, fuel gauge, engine coolant temperature, tachometer there. So it has quite a bit of information on this particular screen. This glare you're seeing on camera, I don't see it with my eyes, but you can see it fine. But on the camera, it makes it look like there's this huge reflection glare. Okay, so pressing that button on the steering wheel, you can cycle through different views. So we have this view, which is the map view, and we have a kind of like a simplified speedometer and stuff like that. The next view is this one, which focuses on the adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist system, that kind of thing. So if I turn on the lane keep assist system, you can see the little lines pop up there. And so that's the focus of that. And cycling it back goes to back. This is like more of a standard view, I guess, more information. But if you have a destination set for the navigation, having that map right there in front of you can be very handy. All right, so over here, so this is like a big tablet looking screen, and it kind of like has like a tablet touchscreen, then it transitions into like physical buttons down here. There's a physical like turning off the screen button here on the side. But yeah, let's go ahead, and there's the home button. Start there. You see the icons here at the very top. So there's the home button. It has these little different icons. This is kind of like another type of home button, but it's more like widgets, if you think of it like a phone. And then your radio, whatever it's doing here. You have your different audio sources, including satellite radio. Satellite radio screen right there, and you have your presets here at the very bottom. And then the last icon here at the top is the navigation map. And you have the outside temperature digital clock over here. I wish the time was a little bit bigger. All right. So let's go here. In the main screen here, you have this button called Controls. Now there's another one here you can see. So there's a little bit of redundancy because the way it's set up, you do need to go into the controls sometimes. But you can access the camera here, and you have the Play Store, you have your settings, Google Maps, audio, climate control, you have your controls, Google News. You see this little phone button right here. That little green indicator is the only thing that lets you know that your phone is charging here. I wish there was like a light here or somewhere more noticeable. I didn't notice at first. But yeah, when your phone's charging, it will illuminate that little green thing. But let's go into the controls. And this is where you'll see your dome light is controlled here. Power window lockout, your camera, traction control on. You can turn it off if you want. Automatic high beams are controlled. Fog lights. You have to go in here to your fog lights. The hill descent and your park assist, which is your parking sensors. Then has an additional button here. See more controls. And then we have another level where you can control your lights, doors and windows, drive and park, universal remotes. So your lights are controlled here. Dome light, fog lights, auto high beams, and then your headlights here. Now, you don't have to go all to those sub menus here. You can just press this icon. Like I remember I told you there's a little bit of redundancy for a reason. So we can just hit that, and then we can turn, have some control of the lights here. But full control is all in that sub menu there. Into the controls, and then see more controls, and then you have your lights. And that gives you your full control. So a little bit of something to learn when you get this vehicle, because you're like, how do you turn on the lights? Well, that's how you do it. A little shortcut here for the settings, and you can go in here, set up the vehicle the way you want it, like so. And this is the volume, so you can scroll that little wheel there. It's kind of neat looking. It has like a little status light and a status bar there as well. So you do have some controls down here for your climate controls, but if you hit this button, it pops up like a visual right here, a large visual where your air is blowing, fan speed and temperature for the driver and passenger. You can also sync them, automatic function to recirculate the air, that kind of stuff. But a lot of it can be controlled down here. So once again, fan speed, temperatures, front and rear defrosters, automatic function, recirculate the air over there. Heated seats are a 3-stage, high, medium, and low, and off. So a 3-stage for the driver and passenger. And these are like toggle switches here. And they're rubberized. They feel pretty good. There's a USB-A and USB-C port here and a little storage tray. There's also a little sensor underneath this tray for the key. So if your battery and your key is bad, you can put the key right there and it'll sense the immobilizer system and allow you to actually drive the vehicle once you get in with the physical key. And then you go to the store and get another battery, basically. And you watch my video showing you how to change the battery. But this right here, this little tray comes out and you can clean it and put it back in. You can see what it looks like under, nothing really interesting. But yeah, this is pretty cool because this little spot can get stuff spilled in it and different things. So being able to take it out, clean it, put it back in is nice. Put it in the dishwasher or whatever, I don't know. Put it in the sink. There's cup holders. And then this is the wireless charger I was talking about. And even with my large case, it does a good job of charging. Every time I put it in there, it positions the phone in the right spot and charges every single time. So yeah, that's been great. And it's kind of rubberized, it doesn't move around, and braking, accelerating, cornering, all that stuff, it stays right there and charges the whole time. This armrest is not very soft. It's kind of rubbery and, you know, not super soft. I wish it was more like a pillow, more like the back one. This opens up, there's a latch right here. So press in on it, you can see it. It's not like super tight, but it lifts up and it's spring loaded so it doesn't slap back down on you. Has a little quick access tray here. It's small and it's hard plastic, so whatever you put in there, like change or whatever, is going to slide around. And it has a fairly deep storage compartment here. Get my business cards out of the way. And yeah, goes in there. There is a rubber floor at the bottom. I wish it was a lighter color because it has this like little light right here, but it's not all that great. And but yeah, anyways, you're gonna probably get it junked up anyway. Put a bunch of stuff in there. But yeah, it goes in there quite a ways. I can put my whole arm in there. And that's where the quick access tray comes in handy for. So if you need to keep something accessible quickly, you can just put it up there, not at the bottom. Because if you put it in that large compartment, you know it's just going to drop to the bottom, and it's going to be, you have to pull everything out just to get to it. The rear view mirror is also, there's a rear view mirror, also rear view camera, and it's also auto dimming the rear view mirror. And of course the camera will adjust its brightness, and you have adjustments here where you can adjust the brightness. You can also adjust the tilt up and down and that kind of stuff. So you can zoom in and out, tilt it up and down, and brightness. So yeah, you just kind of cycle through these different settings here. It's a little bit bright and washed out. Not that bad. I mean, this one actually seems a little bit better than the Cadillac I drove. It has the same mirror, but yeah, I guess it depends on, at nighttime it works great, but during the day, it's a little bit small, like it seems like it's a little bit too small. If it was a little bit bigger, it'd help out, but yeah, it's fine. I mean, I really like rear view cameras now. It's really spoils you after you use it for a while, because rear view mirrors, there's all kinds of stuff that can get in the way. See, my camera's getting in the way, my face is getting in the way, the headrests are getting in the way, all that stuff. Passengers, especially if they have big hairdos, will get in the way, cargo, all that stuff. So having the rear view camera gives you a direct view behind the vehicle. So it's great, especially on the highways. Right above that, you have the OnStar buttons, roadside assistance. Four-way flashers are up here if you're looking for them. And then there is little tap lights here. But once again, the dome lights, interior lights are controlled on the screen in the sub-menu under lights. This is for the sunroof. You have a shade and all that stuff. I'll show you that in a second. There's a place for sunglasses and huge space in there. So you can put like big Hollywood glasses in there. Nice and soft. Now the visors are a cloth material, black cloth, just like the headliner. And there is mirror and lights. They do extend out, and they have this little clip here. They don't all the way extend out. There's a little space right where the sun can come in. But yeah, not too bad. A little bit on the thin side, which is, I guess, fine. Okay, so this sunroof, yeah, let's close this shade. Well, went the wrong way. So you have three buttons. The center button is for the shade, one is for tilt, and one is to slide. So it has this cloth shade that covers 100% of the light. And it's just kind of floppy cloth here. And let's go ahead and open it. When you press the button one time, it goes halfway. It's a panoramic sunroof, so it goes way back there. So first press goes there. I keep going the wrong way. Second press goes all the way back. So you can see how huge it is. The back portion is fixed, the front portion moves. So we can tilt it up, tilt it down, and we'll go ahead and slide it. We'll see if it's still raining. Find out, I guess. Yeah, it is a little bit. Goes that way, press it again, it goes a little bit further back and forward. Yeah. So yeah, that single press for the shade goes all the way forward. So 2 presses to go back, 1 press to go forward. All right, so looking at the visibility here in the back, I mean, just looking at the visibility, like I know it has the camera, but sometimes you have to look over your shoulder and look back there. You can see it has those pillars that kind of line up with the headrests, and there's a little bit of glass there, windows to see out. I mean, this hasn't really been an issue. There is this wide pillar there, so it's like 2 wide pillars. You have visibility here. These pillars up here seem to be okay. So yeah, overall, I mean, it's just normal blind spots you got to get used to on a vehicle. It's not like anything standing out as far as an issue. I would say for the most part, this is a fairly easy vehicle to drive. And it handles on the road, which I have just driven it on the road. I'm not taking it off-road or anything like that. But on-road driving, it has like a springy feel. And it's kind of like a floaty, springy, you know, when you corner, you lean, and when you brake, you lean forward, and you accelerate, it leans back. So it has this little bit of a, you know, springy feel. And some people like that. You know, it definitely cushions you and separates you from the road pretty good. So that might be useful in some scenarios like off-roading and stuff like that, to give you that, you know, not overly jarring experience. For me, you know, I mean, it's a little bit springy for me. Not quite my thing, springy, floaty drive. But it's fine. You know, it's not really an issue. It's not like a, you know, people are going to get car sick, that kind of bad. And so the little 1.5 liter turbo needs some RPMs to get going. You know, and it feels okay when you're driving it and you need the acceleration. It feels okay. Unless you're really used to driving a powerful vehicle. You know, if you're used to driving a 4-cylinder normally, then this would probably be fine. But you know, like if you're used to driving a more, you know, like a V8 or something, and you're used to like a lot of power, or even electric vehicle or something, but you're gonna, you know, might be a little bit disappointed. But I think most people would be fine with this type of acceleration and merging and stuff like that. It seems like the transmission does tend to hunt a little bit for the gears. And so because it has to really get a precise RPM range in order to get this little engine to, you know, give you the power that you really want. So it has to, like, you know, switch gears, and there's like 8 gears. So it has to like change gears all the time to really, you know, deliver what needs to happen for you and also the engine, because it's, you know, little 4-cylinder engine, 1.5 liter on a vehicle this size. So the turbocharger saves the day, and the RPM save the day, and the transmission has to accommodate for that. So, you know, something to consider. It's just easy to drive in general. And it's not really a zippy vehicle. It's not really a, like, you know, big monster vehicle either. It's kind of in that kind of normal range. And I mean, I think it looks good and it feels good. It's comfortable, and you know, it's kind of like competing against a lot of other vehicles, though. You know, like Toyota RAV4 and different vehicles that I don't know, that I would say take it for a test drive. the terrain and see if it's like, you know, if you like it and everything, because, you know, there's some comfort and, you know, style and technology and stuff on this vehicle that, you know, a lot of people I think are going to like. You know, the all-wheel drive capability, you know, the off-road aesthetic, you know, something a little bit different than, you know, the 100th RAV4 on the road or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's a pretty cool vehicle. The only thing, another thing that, you know, a few times I've experienced is, since the RPMs have to kind of kick up there has been some times in which I felt some torque steer in the steering wheel. Not a big deal, but, you know, it is going to be there. But which I was kind of surprised. And it's not the first GMC that I've felt it in, so it's apparently a thing in GMCs. But yeah, I like it. 2026, you know, I think this is my second 2026 model, and so yeah, it's pretty cool. Here it is in June 2025, and we got some 2026 models coming out. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments about the GMC Terrain and the different features, and just GMC in general. You know, what kind of vehicles you've had, and if you had any positive experiences with them. It's that torque steer. Yeah, you can hear the engine. Even all that insulation and stuff, you can definitely still hear the engine. So the lane keep assist system, it's basically kind of wanders around. It just waits till you get to the line, and then just tries to push you over. So it's not like a lane holding type system. So yeah, that's not really, I just turned that off. You have to push the button twice to turn it off. Once to turn it on for some reason. But yeah, I could see this could be a good highway vehicle, because you have good visibility here in the front, decent height off the ground, nice floaty suspension, fairly quiet. I mean this one has like the like more all-terrain type tires, but, you know, without a little bit of road noise there. So if you had different tires, maybe a different trim or something in the Terrain, which it has like more quiet tires, then probably wouldn't hear that much. It's fairly well sound isolated. Engine, when it's revving up really high, you can hear it. Otherwise, it's pretty much silent. So there's the blind spot light turning on. Which I don't trust blind spot monitors 100%. I always look anyway, because it only lets you know if there's somebody directly in your blind spot, not going into or coming out of your blind spot, you know. So, you know, it's not that helpful. I mean, it's helpful, but, you know, it's not reliable as far as like using it by itself. I've seen drivers use the blind spot monitor and just like not even look, and just like, well, the light's not on, therefore I'm turning now, and like almost hit me because they didn't even look. So, you know, stuff like that. People lean too heavily on these type of systems that they're not really intended for that.